Laurel and Hardy were a comedy double act during the early classical Hollywood era of American cinema. The team was composed of thin Englishman Stan Laurel and heavy-set American Oliver Hardy. They became well known during the late 1920s through the mid-1940s for their slapstick comedy, with Laurel playing the clumsy and childlike friend of the pompous Hardy. The duo's signature tune, which is known variously as the Cuckoo Song, Cuckoo, or the Dance of the Cuckoos, was played over the opening credits of their films and has become as emblematic of the duo as their bowler hats. Prior to their being teamed up, both actors had well-established film careers. Laurel had appeared in over 50 films while Hardy had been in more than 250 productions. The two comedians had previously worked together as cast members on the film The Lucky Dog in 1921. However, they were not a comedy team at that time, and it was not until 1926, when both separately signed contracts with the Hal Roach Film Studio, that they appeared in a movie short together. Laurel and Hardy officially became a team in 1927 when they appeared together in the silent short film Putting Pants on Philip. They remained with the Roach Studio until 1940 and then appeared in 8 B-movie comedies for 20th Century Fox and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer from 1941 to 1945. After finishing their movie commitments at the end of 1944, they concentrated on performing in stage shows and embarked on a music hall tour of England, Ireland and Scotland. In 1950, before retiring from the screen, they made their last film, which was a French-Italian co-production called Atoll K. As a team they appeared in 107 films, with the pair starring in 32 short silent films, 40 short sound films and 23 full-length feature films. They also made 12 guest or cameo appearances that included the Galaxy of Stars promotional film of 1936. On December 1, 1954, the pair made one American television appearance when they were surprised and interviewed by Ralph Edwards on his live NBC TV program This Is Your Life. Since the 1930s, the works of Laurel and Hardy have been released in numerous theatrical reissues, television revivals, 8mm and 16mm home movies, feature film compilations and home videos. In 2005, they were voted the 7th greatest comedy act of all time by a UK poll of fellow comedians. The official Laurel and Hardy Appreciation Society is known as the Sons of the Desert, which was named after a fictitious fraternal society featured in the Laurel and Hardy film of the same name. Early careers. Stan Laurel was born Arthur Stanley Jefferson in Ulverston, Lancashire, England, into a theatrical family. His father, Arthur Joseph Jefferson, was a theatrical entrepreneur and theatre owner in northern England and Scotland who, together with his wife, was a major force in the industry. In 1905, the Jefferson family moved to Glasgow to be closer to their business mainstay, the Metropole Theatre, and Laurel made his stage debut in a Glasgow hall called the Britannia Panopticon 1 month short of his 16th birthday. Arthur Jefferson secured Laurel his first acting job with a juvenile theatrical company, Levy and Cardwell, which specialized in Christmas pantomimes. In 1909, Laurel was employed by Britain's leading comedy impresario, Fred Karno, as a supporting actor and as an understudy for Charlie Chaplin. Laurel said of Karno, "There was no one like him. He had no equal. His name was box office." In 1912, Laurel left England with the Fred Karno troupe to tour the United States. Laurel had expected the tour to be merely a pleasant interval before returning to London. However, he emigrated to the US during the trip. In 1917, Laurel was teamed with May Dahlberg as a double act for stage and film. They were living as common-law husband and wife. The same year Laurel made his film debut with Dahlberg in Nuts in May. While working with May, he began using the name Stan Laurel, and changed his name legally in 1931. Dahlberg held Laurel's career back because she demanded roles in Laurel's films and her tempestuous nature made her difficult to work with. Dressing room arguments between the two were common. It was reported that producer Joe Rock paid her to leave Laurel and to return to her native Australia. In 1925, Laurel joined the Hal Roach Film Studio as a director and writer. From May 1925 until September 1926, he received credit in at least 22 films. Laurel starred in over 50 films for various producers before teaming up with Hardy. Prior to that, he experienced only modest success. It was difficult for producers, writers, and directors to write for his character with American audiences knowing him either as a nutty burglar or as a Charlie Chaplin imitator. Oliver Hardy was born Norval Hardy in Harlem, Georgia. By his late teens, Hardy was a popular stage singer and he operated a movie house in Milledgeville, Georgia, the Palace Theater, financed in part by his mother. For his stage name he took his father's first name, calling himself Oliver Norval Hardy, while off-screen his nicknames were Ollie and Babe. The nickname, Babe, originated from an Italian barber near the Lubin Studios in Jacksonville, Florida, who would rub Hardy's face with talcum powder and say, "That's nicer, baby." Other actors in the Lubin Company mimicked this, and Hardy was billed as Babe Hardy in his early films. Seeing film comedies inspired an urge to take up comedy himself, and in 1913, he began working with Lubin Motion Pictures in Jacksonville. He started by helping around the studio with lights, props, and other duties, gradually learning the craft as a script clerk for the company. It was around this time that Hardy married his first wife, Madeline Salosine. In 1914, Hardy was billed as Babe Hardy in his first film, Outwitting Dad. Between 1914 and 1916, Hardy made 177 shorts as Babe with the Vim Comedy Company that were released up to the end of 1917. Exhibiting a versatility in playing heroes, villains and even female characters, Hardy was in demand for roles as a supporting actor, comic villain or second banana. For 10 years he memorably assisted star comic and Charlie Chaplin imitator Billy West, Jimmy Aubrey, Larry Seaman, and Charlie Chase. In total, Hardy starred or co-starred in more than 250 silent shorts, of which roughly 150 have been lost. He was rejected for enlistment by the Army during World War I due to his size. In 1917, after the collapse of the Florida film industry, Hardy and his wife Madeline moved to California to seek new opportunities.